It's time now to take a look through the international newspapers, and joining me in the studio is Nicholas Rushworth. Hello, Nick. We're starting off with Israel.
Israel, the Knesset has been dissolved. The government there has announced that there will be an early vote in January, the 22nd of January. The reaction in the press, I wanted to look at that on both sides of the fence, starting out with the Jerusalem Post. And it says, surprise, surprise, that Iranian threat has vanished. It's gone off the radar as suddenly elections, domestic politics in Israel come centre stage. And the contrast is total with actually Haaretz, which is the left-leaning main daily in Israel. There you can see the headline, "Good riddance." And it's saying that this parliament was no good. It was the majority of tyranny. They ran roughshod over minority rights. That's the Arab-Israeli community. They didn't respect high court rulings. They tried to intimidate the media. And it says in Haaretz now, look, Israelis, you must demand a fair and democratic government. So sort of an eye to how the two sides of the fence are looking at this move in Israel now.
The election is taking place in January. Now, moving on to a different election, that of the presidential election in the States. Obama and Romney facing each other again for the second time in a few hours.
Well, I saw one piece in The Hill, which is sort of like the Insider's magazine in Washington, D.C. There we can see it. Poll, Obama more likely to bungee jump and would be a better babysitter. I thought, what is this? This is crazy. How many polls can you have in a day and about what? So would you believe it? Obama is going to be a better bungee jumper, according to a poll. 6 in 10 Americans think he's going to be better than Romney. Romney scoring much lower. Now, I thought, bungee jumping off what? Like the fiscal cliff or something that they got over there?
Maybe they were inspired by Fearless Felix. I mean, why ask people about bungee jumping in the first place?
And then we've got babysitting. So apparently in September there was a poll, 41 points each. They were neck and neck. If parents asked either of them to babysit, who would they choose? And I was like, not particularly a big policy issue. But apparently the latest poll on the babysitting stakes is that Obama is 49% more likely to be chosen by American parents to babysit than Romney, who's getting 36%. So it's polls a go-go, and perhaps some of them you don't want to know about.
And you've got something from the Los Angeles Times?
Well, what happened in the last debate was we saw all the pundits said Obama lost. Romney really came home and did the punching. But there was one weak point, and that weak point turned out to be Sesame Street's Big Bird. He said PBS funding, that's public television in the States, would go. He wasn't going to finance that. Panic set in, saying, well, what's going to happen to Big Bird? Because Sesame Street is watched worldwide. So the Los Angeles Times, in its coverage of this second debate, is saying, oh, well, now the Republicans are responding. There is a movement for Sesame Street, for PBS. So the Big Bird, Save Big Bird continues.
And you spotted a couple of cartoons about that independence referendum in Scotland for 2014.
Well, I turned to the Scottish press, actually, the Scotsman, the Scottish Herald, and I didn't find very much, not grabbing, no editorials. I think perhaps it's just so much part of daily life in Scotland that they're perhaps a bit fed up with it. But I turned to the Independent and the Guardian. The Independent in the UK had this cartoon, and we can see Alex Salmond there. He's the Scottish Nationalist Party leader who's pushing this referendum. And there you can see the most important question for Scots in 300 years. The union with England was in 1707. David Cameron, the British Prime Minister, I was going to say English Prime Minister there, looking on, saying any swing in the polls. So the Union Jack underwear is down and the Scottish kilt is up. Let's look at The Guardian. We've got Steve Bell in his cartoon saying, well, this is actually a risky strategy for these two blokes. They're leaders of both countries, but Cameron, in saying it's a black and white referendum here, yes or no, decide, he's taking a risk. And also Alex Salmond is also taking a risk. They're both trying to pull those rabbits out of the hat. And Alex Salmond, of course, if he loses, it won't be voted again.
Up to the Scots to decide in 2014. Thank you very much, Nicholas, for taking us through the international press.